was to be another 10 years before the world could see the Eiffel Tower. Thomas Edison had not yet invented the light bulb. And Giuseppe Verdi was still composing his opera Otello. It was the year 1878. Meanwhile, in Barcelona, Marcelino Viver and Pedro Casals were starting up the business of making Torre taps and valves. And since that time, many years ago, the brand Torre has been a byword for quality. The experience and professional care taken in the running of the firms making up the Torre group of companies is backed by over 120 years of know-how. This innovative style of management has provided our customers with the best service and a product range of the highest quality. Torre products are designed with the most advanced tools and manufactured under the most modern production methods. Subjected to the toughest quality control. Packaged to help their storage and easy identification. Products that, day by day, win over new clients in an increasingly competitive marketplace. Finally, we wish to thank you for watching and hope that this video has proved to be of interest to you. In this film, our intention has been to provide you with a brief outline of the Torre Group, and above all, to demonstrate our commitment to quality and our pledge to innovation. We would like once again to underline our offer of collaboration and determination to continue competing, and strongly, in order to achieve our greatest goal, that of being your best supplier. our environment to become a more comfortable place day by day, services such as gas, electricity, the telephone and water supply will require constant improvement. In terms of water supply, Torre's products are a byword for quality and innovation. All the components making up the Torre system are the result of many years of experience and real knowledge of installers' needs and requirements. It is because of this that Torre's saddles are proving so helpful to the companies using them. And largely, it is due to suggestions from people like yourselves with a lot of experience. I know that you are probably already familiar with the next section, but I hope to fill any gaps in your knowledge regarding these saddles in order to make their installation as straightforward as possible. To start off with, I'd like to show you the Torre system catalog first, and after that, the different parts that make it up. Torre system saddles for under-pressure intakes. There are three types of saddles: golf saddles, SEDEC saddles, and big saddles. Each collar is made up of two parts: the saddle, which is the top part, and the strap, which is the lower part. To assemble any of these three saddle types, you can use the same straps. They can also be used for pipes with a diameter between 60 and 300. All the elements needed for the installation and startup of all Torre system saddles can be found in the index. Each piece is given a number in order to help find it more easily in the list, so you can know its name and on which page it is found. I'll start off by talking about the drill. As you can see, it is very small, weighing very little, and it can work in the tightest space. The drill also has a drainage valve that allows us to get rid of any shavings that may build up when drilling pipes carrying water supply. All parts have been designed to work in the street and withstand all kinds of knocks and bangs. They are simple, tough, and easy to keep in good condition. All you have to remember to do is dry and clean the parts after each use to avoid lime buildup. To take the mechanism apart and clean it, take out the pin. Then remove the shaft. And after that, unscrew the thrust screw. It is all very easy. Inside the head there is a needle bearing which allows the shaft to turn. The same apparatus can be used for work with all the following: the golf saddle for dry service connections, the golf saddle for under-pressure service connections, and the SEDEC saddle for under-pressure service connections. To join the drill to the saddle, you will need these pieces called couplings. For these 6 saddles, these 2 couplings will be enough. The biggest one used for the SEDEC saddle, 40 and 50. And the smallest for these 4. What should we do when we want to install big saddles? Well, it's very easy. First, remove the pin. Then, take out the shaft and put in the long shaft and put the pin back in again. All we have to do now is mount the coupling flange. And the drill is ready to use. As you can see, the conversion is very straightforward. Next, we are going to install 3 different connections under pressure, with a 1-inch golf saddle, with a SEDEC 50 saddle, and the third with an 80 saddle. While the installation is taking place, I'd like to turn your attention to the cutters and other components that make up Torre's system. First, we should choose a strap to fit around the pipe we'll be working with. In this case, the pipe in question is a 150 diameter ductile iron main, so we should use a strap of 150. The straps come in packets of 5. Each packet comes with step-by-step instructions explaining how they should be assembled. In this packet, we'll find the bolts, the nuts, and the knuckles required to mount the saddle. There are 3 basic reasons why the fitter should first put the nuts and bolts in place. First, to avoid them falling and getting the threads dirty. Second, so the fitter can check that the pieces fit correctly. And third, prior assembly also helps the strap take shape. So the first step consists of molding the strap around the pipe in question. Now the fitter will install a 1-inch golf saddle under pressure. There is also a version available for connections without pressure. The nut and the O-rings protect the slot where the spatula is inserted and create a second still water chamber for peace of mind. The arrow tells us the position of the slot and where to insert the spatula. The outer thread is also used to mount the drill. The joint is universal. In other words, the same saddles can be mounted on pipes measuring from 60 to 300 millimeters. The fitter should be careful and make sure that the slot stays in a convenient position for the spatula to be inserted when the time comes. Once the saddle is on, we can turn it to the required position, at an angle if assembly is to be made for a straight fitting. Assembly can also be done with a valve screwed directly to the saddle. In this case, however, we are going to fit it in a vertical position with a 90-degree elbow. Here we have to make sure that the strap is in the correct position. The nut should be progressively tightened bit by bit with the right size wrench. Now, once the saddle is fitted, we can start to drill the pipe. In order to drill the pipe, we can use any number of cutters according to what the pipe is made from. Silver cutter is used to drill PVC pipes. Green cutter is for polyethylene pipes. Gold one has carbide inserts and is used for ductile iron pipes. Last but not least, we have the 24mm drill also for ductile iron pipes. We are going to use this drill bit now. How do we couple the bit to the shaft? Well, it's very straightforward. Loosen the stud bolt enough to be able to insert the drill bit. The bolts should match the slot position. Slide the drill bit in to the end and then just tighten the bolt. You don't have to tighten it too much. Once the shaft is raised up to this notch, the apparatus is ready to use. At this point, we can see the fitter connecting the drainage tube to remove the shavings produced by drilling. First of all, check to make sure that the drainage cock is open. We are going to collect the shavings in this bucket so you can see them. Another important tool here is the ratchet wrench. It has a very tough built-in non-slip click system. Before tightening with this wrench, the fitter should turn the thrust screw until he can see that the leading edge of the drill is in contact with the pipe. And out flows the water. This means that the drill has cut through the pipe and that the drainage tube is removing the shavings. When no more force is necessary, it means the pipe has been fully drilled. Look at the stopwatch. This is the time the operation has really taken. This notch tells us that we are reaching the end of the thread. In this position, with the shaft totally raised, we can now close the drainage valve. You can see the shavings collected at the bottom of the bucket. Without drainage, they would have remained inside the pipe. There are two spatulas, the big one for SEDEC 40 and 50 saddles, and the small one which we are going to use now for golf saddles and SEDEC 25 and 32 saddles. The spatula blade has a beveled edge, so it can enter the slot more easily. For your reference, the part of the handle with the writing should be facing up. Before using the spatula, it should always be cleaned and greased. Once the spatula is in as far as it can go, you can remove the drilling apparatus. Remember, don't forget to put the nut in place before mounting the elbow. Once the service is connected, then we can safely remove the spatula. We then finish off the operation by tightening the nut. At the end of the video, we will show you how to seal this saddle if it's not going to be used. Now we will fit a SEDEC 50 saddle. SEDEC saddles are direct connection types. In other words, this means that the service tube can be joined without having to use any fitting. Like the golf saddles, every box contains an assembly instruction leaflet. There are 4 SEDEC saddle sizes: 25, 32, 40, and 50. These saddles, just like the golf ones, come with a universal joint. Those of 25 and 32 can be fitted to pipes from 60 to 300. While those of 40 and 50 to pipes from 80 to 300. As I mentioned earlier, the same straps can be used for all saddles of the Torre system. Here too, pay attention to the arrow that marks the position of the slot. It should be angled in the right position to work with. As you can see, the strap is mounted just like the golf saddle. SEDEC saddles can also be fitted in various positions, vertically with elbow, horizontally, or at an angle. An angled connection makes best use of the tube's curvature to get the best position. This is the monoblock nut. As you can see, on the inside there are O-rings, and here is the clamp which holds the tube connection in place. Like the golf saddles, there is also a second still water chamber to protect the slot. The 2 joints you can see on the screen make up this chamber. This nut also has the advantage that inside all parts can remain in place without falling or moving out of position. For the SEDEC 40 and 50 saddles, we use the same apparatus and large coupling. For these saddles, there are 3 cutters: for PVC pipes, for polyethylene pipes, and for ductile iron ones. In this case, we are going to use this cutter. We push it right in and tighten the stud bolt, but without using excessive force. Once the cutter is touching the pipe, we can start drilling. When using the cutter, we should start drilling without applying too much pressure. Now the water is starting to come out. We can see once again how the shavings come out. When the thrust screw loosens, it means that we have reached the end. Nevertheless, we should continue a little more just to make sure that the hole has been totally made. Once the spatula has been inserted, we can now take off the drill. To remove the core from the cutter, just tap it using the arm of the thrust screw, as demonstrated here. Now we are going to connect the service tube. Here we screw in the monoblock nut until it touches the spatula, but without putting pressure on it. Before connecting the tube, you should carve a small bevel and grease the end of the tube too. Always remember to make a mark to ensure that the tube goes in right where it should. Now you can take out the spatula. To tighten the monoblock nut, we recommend that you use an articulated wrench. This same wrench can be used for all different diameters. To make the assembly easier, it is recommended you hold the tube with one hand, because if you lose hold of the tube, it will fall and it will be more difficult to tighten. The installation is finished. Later we will see how to seal this service connection without having to cut off the water supply. The third installation will be done with an 80 saddle. Each box contains an instruction leaflet for assembly and information where the range of applications is given, along with the cutter required in each case. You can see how compact it is, only 13 centimeters high. There are 3 sizes, 65, 80, and 100. They can be fitted to both ductile iron and fiber cement pipes. In each joint, the pipe diameters they can be fitted to are given as standard. Each saddle size has 2 versions. In size 65, there is a saddle that goes from 100 to 200, and the other from 200 to 300. The size 80 goes from 125 to 200, and from 200 to 300. And finally, the 100s go from 150 to 200 and from 200 to 300. To shut off the water flow, we must use this slide plate. I am now going to show you the secret of these saddles. This 10mm thick joint provides a watertight fit, which as you can see is totally greased to help the seal. The slide plate comes with two blade sizes, one of 100 for the 100 saddle and one of 80 for the saddle sizes 65 and 80. Changing the blades is really easy. All you do is loosen these screws, take out the blade, and put in the other one. Notice that it is impossible to put the blade in wrong. There is only one possible position. Once the blade is in place, just tighten these screws again by hand. Now it's ready to be put to work. We're going to install this saddle, DN 80 size for pipes from 125 to 200. To fasten it, we will use two straps the same as those used in the earlier demonstrations. The saddle can be mounted vertically and at a bend, or horizontally, which is what we are going to do in this fitting. Observe the position that the slide plate has to enter. The plate enters on the side of the short screw. To ensure that the saddle is well mounted, the nut should be tightened alternately and evenly, and all the time checking the positioning of the lower stops. While the fitter continues to mount the straps, I'll show you how to set up the drill. Look at these 12 holes. The same coupling flange can be used for all three saddles, the 65, the 80, and the 100. A watertight fit is provided by these two O-rings that must always be kept clean. We recommend that you take them out from time to time and clean them thoroughly and grease them. They can easily be taken out with the help of a key. Now the drill is ready to join the drill bit and the cutter. This is the centering drill bit, which will hold the drill core once the drilling is complete in order to stop it from falling into the pipe. The same drill bit can be used for all three saddle sizes. To tighten it, use a 4mm Allen key. The cutter should be that for an 80 size hole. To protect the drill bit, it is important to lift the thrust screw until the indicated point. Notice that here the drainage cock should be in the lower part. The coupling flange is supplied with a complete set of nuts and bolts. In order to put the plate in the right place, the bolts should be tightened alternately, little by little. For the moment, only the drill bit is working. That is why it is so smooth. However, when the cutter starts to come into play, you'll have to use more force. The drill bit has just started to break the surface of the pipe. Now the fitter will continue until the cutter comes into contact with the pipe. To work more easily, and now the drilling has finished. Look at the stopwatch to see how long it has taken. Don't forget to lift the shaft to the limit before putting in the slide plate. The central screw should be removed because this is where the slide plate will enter. The other nuts should be loosened until they touch the pin without forcing them. Now we can insert the slide plate. It should be put in firmly, but without forcing it. Once the slide plate is in, we can take out the drill. can see that the core is held in place once cut, preventing it from falling in the pipe. It is only necessary to turn the bolts twice to take apart the drill bit and cutter. Here is the core that we have cut out from the pipe. This operation is now finished. As you have seen, it is a very quick and easy job to do. To finish off, we are going to show you how to undo and seal the 3 saddles we have fitted in this demonstration. First, we will undo and seal the golf saddle. Look at the stopwatch. And that's it. The connection is removed. You can see for yourselves on the stopwatch how long the operation has taken. Now our fitter will undo and seal the Sedex saddle. To do this, he will use a polyethylene plug. First, mark the nut and unscrew it 5 complete turns. Be sure to use the right size spatula. Here we should use the big one. You can see here how the monoblock nut should be left in order to reuse it. As you can see, along with the tube, one of the O-rings is also removed. This O-ring must be put back in place again. Before mounting it again, be sure to clean it. This O-ring should be placed in the joint holder. Now the monoblock nut is ready to be mounted again. The nut should be tightened until it touches the spatula, but without applying pressure. The plug should have a beveled edge to help with mounting. Now you can take out the spatula. And with that, the Sedex saddle has been effectively sealed. Finally, we will seal and undo the 80 saddle. First, we have to loosen the nuts and take out the central screw. And now the 80mm saddle is sealed. As you can see on the stopwatch, the sealing and undoing of the bigger saddles is also very quick. With the help of this video, we have illustrated the strengths of Torre system. But it is you with your expertise who will be the ones to really take full advantage of its possibilities. Thanks very much for your time.